I just went to Walmart, getting stocked up, getting an RV Monday. Heading out for, what do we call it, section 2 of 50 at 60 plan here. Going to the Florida coast, Florida Peninsula, south of Alabama, and the southern part of Mississippi. I kind of put this whole plan together for the year, and I tried to squeeze in a couple of states here in June. Hoping it's not a mistake. We've been having a lot of rain down here. I think I might have some rain along the way, but I'm going to challenge myself here, and that is to kind of just slow down. I want to do a lot of reading. I want to do a lot of writing, and maybe focus on my photography in a small space. The small space being the Class C RV, picking it up on Monday. Heading out with the cat this time. I've blogged about traveling with a cat several times. I did a video about taking a trip with a cat back in April. It was with my ex-wife. This time I'm going out myself, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're taking her out for 8 days?" It's not going to be that bad. I think it's going to take her a couple of days to adjust. But then basically on this trip here, going to the south part of Alabama, south part of Mississippi. I don't know how much exploring I'm going to be able to do into the small towns that I've blogged about before, because I'm going to be, with Kat, and not a convenient way to get to small towns, because I'm going to be staying in the RV parks. Anyway, I reached out to AI this time, asked it to put a meal plan together for me for 8 days. And a grocery list. I used the list as a starting point and made my own list and found just about everything I needed in Walmart. By the way, I think I've talked about him before. Sarasota Tim, he is also traveling in an RV. He is doing a lot of traveling right now out west, and he seems to just be able to take the phone and the selfie stick in Walmart and video while he's in there. It's enough for me to get my cart through this place without crashing into somebody. I mean, if I stand there long enough, I get run over or stepped on. I can't even imagine video in there, let alone with a selfie stick. This is going to be interesting for this week. I'm kind of packed up and ready to go. I told the RV place I'd be there at around noon. It is noon now. Been slowly taking stuff down to my car. I live in a condo, so got to take it down a couple of floors and put it... Anyway, I've been just kind of doing it casually. Reason being, my cat's very sensitive to when she's about to be put into the bag. And I don't know what the clues are. She was hanging out here. She was fine. I went in, I had one more bag to grab, went in, brushed my teeth, came out, couldn't find her. I came back in the room, back in the condo. I know where she's at. There's like 2 hiding spots that she regularly goes to when she knows we're going somewhere. She's not that bad. I mean, once I put her in the bag, you never hear from her, really. She's a very good traveler, but she's kind of being a little bit stubborn right now. I'll give her a few minutes. If she doesn't wander out, gotta go yank her out of the hiding spot, and I hate doing that. This is gonna be an interesting week. Alright, we got her. Yeah, this is not going to be another cat vlog, I don't think. Although, my cat's the only other person in the RV with me, so I'm sure she'll be quite the subject. The roaming cat. See, she's pretty good once you get her in there. Not a peep. She's a good little traveler. Cat's looking at the camera like, are you vlogging? All right, we are in the RV now. By the way, I'm not sure if you can see that on the head. Apparently, when I was loading a bunch of stuff in at the RV place, I was in too much of a hurry, of course. I'm like loading in bags and bags of stuff, and cat litter pans, and cat litter, and toys, and food, and my clothes, and camera. Probably too many cameras. And I go to get ready to leave. I said to the guy, I'm like, all right, I'm ready to leave. Here's my keys. He's like, do you want a napkin or something, man? Like, blood's pouring down your face. Apparently there was a door. Not apparently, it's exactly what happened. There was a door above the sink that I had open, and I was taking shortcuts and goonk. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. I got a rest stop coming up here. I think I'm gonna stop, see how the cat's doing. There's some little jingle jangle going on in the back, as always. Not too much of an update other than we're on the road and I'm behind another slow semi. And I'm only going 50. I still can't believe I did this to my head. It was this door right here. It's like running in and out, Goonk! Stopped at a rest stop here along the turnpike. Cat's out exploring. Tried to give her a little treat. She's not really interested in eating. It's kind of nice to just stop. I hang out with where all the truckers are, the other RVs. You got snacks, you got food, you got an onboard restroom, and you just take little breaks. It takes 2 seconds to pull in here. And I think the cat appreciates the quiet, although some of these little squeaks and tired chirps and things like that from different cars, she's still a little timid to that. We're about 2 hours away, I think, maybe 2.5 hours away from the campgrounds. My first stop is going to be in Hermosa, just gonna stay there one night. And then the second night is going to be up in the Panhandle somewhere around Destin. I even forget the name of that. St. Joe, I think it is. So we're going to stay there for one night. And then I'm going to go into the southern part of Alabama near New Hope. I think it's closer to a town called Gulfport or something. Again, this is where we're staying. And then it's going to be a really quick trip over to Mississippi. I think it's like maybe an hour. I'm gonna stay there for 2 nights. I'm also looking at the weather because there's a disturbance down on the Gulf and there's a disturbance off the coast of Florida, and I'm kind of in the middle of that. And this thing's a little wishy-washy, I guess is the technical term. A little loose with the driving, so I don't want to be dealing with a lot of wind. So anyway, I'm gonna buckle up here in a minute and hit the road. I've pretty much stopped at every rest stop along the way. I was able to stop for like 10-15 minutes every time and pet the cat, make sure everything was good. And it looks like I'm about 38 minutes away. We are definitely in a different area of Florida here. Just thinking as I'm driving, as I do, as we all do, I'm really, as I knew I would be, excited about the different segments that I have lined up throughout the year. Every month doing a different part of the country, but seeing the country a little differently. You know, this trip here in an RV with the cat is much different than, you know, gallivanting around Alaska and the Pacific Northwest in an SUV, staying in cabins and things. And I'm just thinking about another segment that I might do by train. I haven't really, it just kind of hit me as before I was leaving, something popped up in my socials about doing that. So I might re-plan some of this, I'm not sure, but bottom line, every single month is going to be different and unique. Some with family, some with the cat, some by myself. And it feels really good to be on the road again. I'm about 11 minutes away to the campground. You know, I got the thing out to record and there was nobody behind me, and there was like 7 cars. I like this place, man. So I just realized that I had all these high hopes of recording some quiet, like, you ever seen those videos where somebody's doing something and they're not saying anything, you just see their hands and maybe you hear the water running, and maybe they're cooking and you hear the utensils. I forgot about the air conditioner noise. It's loud, so there won't be any of that. Takes a day or two for her to get kind of up to speed, I guess. I'm gonna finish putting a few things away and figure out what I'm doing for dinner. And I guess that's it for today. So I don't know if this is the end of the vlog or maybe I'll continue this into tomorrow. I gotta get organized here. I'll do a quick tour tomorrow. One more view of the cat. It's okay. We're not going anywhere now. We're parked safe and sound. He's like, I don't trust you, Dad. Aww. I just wanted to say it was something funny. I went to take the trash down to there's two different dumpsters here in the campsite, and I had a flashlight out and I was approaching it and I could hear this. I thought it was a little bit of scrambling going on. It's a couple of fences or gates that closed it off. And when I got up real close to it, I was shining the flashlight around. There was either several raccoons in there or a couple of bears. Lobbed the trash bag over and cruised on out of there. Again, the cat's chilling. She's up on basically my bed. I'm gonna have to move the pillows and her and actually make that bed. My campgrounds here didn't have a grill, and I had a propane stove and I was going to cook. I ended up just doing some stuff inside. I just heated a can of soup and sauteed some ham, made a sandwich. So again, I'm looking forward to this trek tomorrow. I think it's going to be a nice ride. I'll probably put the GoPros out, maybe record some of that trip. I'm going to get an early sleep tonight, I think. It's comfortable in here. The AC finally kicked off. It's 75 in here. Perfect. All right, so that's it. I'll see you guys in the morning. Or whoever's watching this. And if you're here, by the way, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the morning. I do realize that you're comfy back here, but it's like 10 o'clock. And I'm going to have to make the bed now. She's already getting the lay of the land. First night. So this is going to be a rather niche video. I'm well aware of it, but I had the curtains up for the front of the window and I took them down a little bit because she's exploring. And this is so, you know, we had her out before in April, like I mentioned before, and it took a good 2.5 days before she was wandering around exploring like this. And this is really the first evening, so it's kind of nice seeing her checking things out. Of course, that's the basket I had for the ride up. She never sat in it. Now she's checking it out. He's like, I want to see outside. Aw. Cat lovers will understand. She's been all over the place. She loves this. She was sleeping up with me. She's sleeping up here. Nice and quiet. Good morning. It's been all over the place. I had the thing up, you know, she's going behind there on the windshield. She's been all on the seats. She's sleeping up with me. Good morning, man. So you're looking at a completely different cat on this trip than the last trip. She has been totally open to exploring this entire place by now. She slept up in the bed with me. She slept up in her window perch. And there's the AC. Hi, good morning from my first campground. This place has more of a mix of permanent, like the one behind me back here. See, that's more of a tiny home. I thought it looked like a few of them here were permanent, and I went up to the front desk lady, the check-in area, registration. So she, they were open this morning, and I asked her, I says, what percentage is, or obviously year-round? She goes, about 65%. I think she said if you do a year-long lease, it's $680 a month, plus metered utilities, water and electric. So interesting little info there if you want to live the permanent RV lifestyle. Have another cup of coffee. Gonna pull out of here in about a couple hours. See if the cat's on the dashboard. She's been all over this thing exploring this morning. She did really good last night. Look at her. Oh, you haven't even seen the RV. Let me just step back a little bit. There it is. The Mini Winnie. Kitty's inside, obviously. And I'm making breakfast. Sustainable luxury is not. Just enjoyed a little morning pool action before we hit the road. I think take you on a little trip through the property here at this RV park that I'm staying. I forget the pronunciation of it. Homosama, I think it is. About 65% of the people live here, I guess, year round. I'll give you a little quick tour. So one of the things you got to get used to in an RV is the sound of the air conditioning. This is that sound. When it shuts off, I'll record some more. So the cat had a busy evening, busy morning. She's relaxing. She likes to crawl under the pillows. She doesn't really do that at home, but she seems to want to do that in the RV. But she doesn't look scared. Her eyes are closed. She's kind of just napping. Opens them up every now and then when she hears me talk. Like I said before, this little segment of heading out to hit these 2 states is really about traveling with the cat more than anything. My sister had sent me a link to some things to do in this area, and I haven't even researched this area. I know we're near Silver Springs, a little bit north of here. There's a lot of stuff to do, but when you're in a Class C, you're hooked up to electrical. It isn't like I'm going to drive to a parking lot of an attraction and then leave the generator running so the AC can happen in the car, or in the vehicle, so the cat can have air. I mean, it's one thing to stop at a grocery store and go in for a few minutes, but I'm not going to leave her there for hours without power, and there's no solar to keep the AC going. So anyways, little things you got to think about when you're traveling with a pet. Also, keeping all those screens closed, and every time I go out the door, closing the door. And so really this trip, again, is about just traveling with the cat and checking off a couple of states. But I'm trying to stay at some nice little campgrounds. This one was pretty reasonable. I think it's under, I think with tax it was under 70. I went for a swim this morning. I went for a nice walk around the location. Again, 65 to 70% of the people live year-round here. Took a couple of photos of the lake. I'm probably the smallest unit in this place. There's no vans that I've seen, but I didn't see any Class C's either. So that's what I'm in. I'm in a Class E drivable. If I was towing a vehicle, then I could have it hooked up with power and then head out in the truck or whatever. Or if I was towing a vehicle behind me, then I could go out and explore, do my own thing, have the power here. Cat could be fine all day. So when you're in a Class C, it's a different deal. It's it's your living quarters and your driving vehicle, all in the same. Talking about what I did this morning, I just kind of went for a quick swim, and there's a nice bathhouse up there, so I don't have to use the shower in here, and was able to use that. It was clean, neat, 2 big stalls, a handicap one, a regular one, a nice clean bathroom. They did a great job taking care of this place. I've seen 3 or 4 golf carts riding around, maintenance guys taking care of it. So I don't know if I even remember the name of this, Sun Resort or something. I'll put the name right here. I recommend it if you're in this area. For me, it was just a stopping off point. I don't want to travel more than, I want to try to average my drive time per day, 4.5 to 5 hours max. And this, since I'm going up to that part of the country, southern part of Alabama, southern part of Mississippi, that means we're driving up through the panhandle of Florida, which is a bit of a trek. So I stayed here last night. I'm staying in a place called Port St. Joe next, and that's where we're headed. So got to disconnect the power, disconnect the water, pet the cat, enjoy this quiet, and hit the road. I just like to admit my successes and failures. This wasn't a failure because I caught it, but I almost drove out of here with the awning out, which would have been a complete disaster. We just ripped the thing off of this. So I have a personal checklist. It's got to be 5 things I got to check: awning, electrical, water, sewage, and the cat. Those 5 things I got to make sure. That's my checklist. I don't have them written down, but I got to remember there's 5 really important things. So I have a number 7. Sorry, number 6. I'm sure there'll be a 7th one soon enough. Make sure and grab the tire chocks. I went to pull forward and it wasn't moving, and I was like, ah! So item 6, tire chocks. So I've been hugging the coast here for, I don't know, a good hour, I guess. About 20 minutes away, maybe, I think something like that. To the next area, which is Port St. Joe here in Florida. And it's just a nice stretch here. To the right is just Florida scrub grass and some taller trees back there. To the left, looks like some pines, and then the Gulf on the other side of that. But every once in a while it'll break through. You'll see a bunch of homes that are up on stilts. It's funny, I recognize a lot of the names of these towns from the Weather Channel, because every time a hurricane comes near us, you watch the Weather Channel as a Floridian. We'll be talking about all the different towns here, Apalachicola, and
take a slight left turn onto County Road 30.
All of these small towns. Anyway, my education to the coastline here has been very similar to my classical music education whilst watching Bugs Bunny. Well, that's the way I wanted to go, and I missed it. Yeah, just found that out. So I'm at my newest place. A little rundown here. I'm at the Presnells, Presnells, Bayside Marina and RV Resort. I'll kind of take you on a little tour later, or maybe interject some B-roll. It's the plan here. We're right on the, there we go. I'm like 1 row away from the water. There's a little dock. In fact, as soon as I got here, there were some kids that were out there crabbing and fishing, and they had lost their net in the water. So I had to wrap my leg around the edge of the pier and dipped down, eventually got it out of the water for him. It's kind of funny. Anyway, it took about, I just turned it up to 79 or 80, but it takes a long time. The downside, now again, I'm a beginner RVer here. First thing I do when I get here, hook up the electric, water, and then I hooked up the sewer this time because I'll probably dump the gray tank and the black tank before I leave. By the way, I filled up the gas tank today. Now, mind you, I've only driven, at that point I had only driven about 5 hours total. And I filled the tank back up. $130. Cat's under the pillow sleeping. I think she's happy that we're not moving. I'm going to try to cook a steak outside on my propane stove. The only things I have to cook in are this and a slightly larger one. So the steak's going to get cooked in one. I have prepared some food. Let me show you. Cut up some onion, 2 different color pepper, red and orange pepper, asparagus, and tomato. So we're gonna somehow cook that in the large pot or the large saucepan with some olive oil, I guess. I'm glad I rented the propane stove. I bought some charcoal, just assuming these campgrounds were going to have charcoal grills outside, and strike 2. This one or the last one didn't have them. So note to self, I might buy a cheap one next time I come out on one of these RV trips. Again, I'm going to just drop little breadcrumbs here from time to time. I am an extremely beginner RVer, and kind of making some mental notes and passing them on as I go. I'll do a little walk around later, maybe insert some B-roll here of a walk around I did earlier, maybe later tonight. Hopefully there'll be a nice sunset. I'll get a couple shots tonight. Finish this vlog out. But right now it's time to cook and check on the cat. How you doing back there? She's like, you're not driving anytime soon, are you? You get some rest, okay? She's like, that's what I was doing till you bothered me. Oh yeah. There's so much going on here. You got paddle boarders out here, people waiting. Of course, you got the star of the show. You got the guys in the dock here. This other building or hotel or something. So the water comes down this way, and then there's like a dock area up there up by the offices. My unit is, I think it's just on the other side of this guy. Can't see it. It's like right around the corner from the red truck, actually. But anyway, cool place. You can rent boats and everything here, which I won't be doing. I'm only here one night. Thought you guys would like this. Cat's sleeping. All right, well, the sun is down and the cat is up. Hi. Did you wake up from your little slumber? She's just getting up. All right, so yeah, that was an amazing sunset. Spoke to a couple, an older couple. They say they come down here 60 days every year. I didn't ask how many years, but I think they come down from Georgia. And they said out of those 60 days, normally about 50 days have sunsets like that. So it's pretty amazing. Anyway, it was gorgeous. The fishermen on the pier and the people running around were great subjects. silhouetted. I'll share a few, I'm probably sharing some clips now. I'll share some images to close out the vlog. Oh wow, 60 days. Wow. Oh yeah, how long are you here for? One night. So that's a couple of days of me traveling through Florida. Not quite out of Florida yet. Heading to Alabama tomorrow. I'll either continue this, probably do another episode, I guess. This was probably long enough. Anyway, that's all I got for now. There'll be more on the next one. As always, thanks for following the journey. I appreciate it. And as always, more knowledge later.